Hi all. Right, let's see if we can get the 17th finished. There's a long range picture of the grim situation that we're up against. So one more card left in the German draw pile, and because there's only one card, it does say if only one card is available at the start of the German Impulse draw, just one instead of two, and use it as a command card. So that's what we're going to do. So let's draw the card. Okay, so it's first SS, and the special is on the 23rd, so that's not applicable. So we're going to activate all units in the core. So I'll move the camera around and we'll go and see what's what. Okay, so no roadblocks adjacent to any of the first SS. His army objective marker is in here though, and there's a German unit on top of it, so that's going to relocate. Now, yeah, okay, I'm going to roll dice for this, so 6 pounds army, so where's the man? Hey, where's my dice? Right, see what we got. A 2, okay. A 2 in Manhay is going to be 0319 West, so it's just a hex number, so it's kind of back up the north. 0319. And what did I say? It was west, wasn't it? It's north. 03319 west. I need to turn that over. Right, so it's over there. So they're going up, back up north towards Liège. Okay. Right, so now we're going to look at trying to move this lot around. There's quite a bunch of them, so we'll see how things go. And this is the last little issue I had was it was similar to what we talked about in the last episode. This causing surround and moving adjacent to a unit. I think it's this unit here that these units are all kind of surrounding, but they're not adjacent, and there's 4 of them. So this is where I was sort of thinking to myself, are all they 4 really the ones that are causing the surround, and do they all move adjacent? But going by how it's written, it looks like that's the case. I've still not had any feedback from my question on BGG, and also I just uploaded that last night, part 8 of this, the last part, which is asking for a little bit any comments regarding that, and also the movement with the 58. But if I do get any feedback from that, I'll let you know and add it in the video one. All I can do is go by how I see the rules written. So, okay, right, I'll go away and I'll find out what the first movement is going to be. Okay, that's somebody at my door. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know, I'll try and cut it out. I'll listen back. If it's really bad, I'll cut it out. Okay, so activating the first SS now. Something that's going to be slightly different this time. We've got 2 first SS units in the reserve units box. So we'll need to remember and watch for the rules about they could possibly come in to join a battle, or I think there's another occasion that they can come in as well. Anyway, we'll need to keep that in mind that they're there. Okay, starting just by having a look at movement method 2, closer to the objective and next to VP hex. Goes in ascending order, so I'll need to keep looking at that. The first unit's away down here. He's keeping this, well, he's got this guy surrounded. He's already adjacent to a VP hex. I don't believe he can get closer. yeah, no, I mean, even if he could get into this hex, it's not closer to his army objective, it'll be the same distance away. So that's Unit 2, right, we've got Unit 4 up here. Now he's already adjacent as well, and in actual fact, we had him coming here to here, but I've just checked, and not that he would do this, because again, it's keeping this unit surrounded if he moves away and into here, and it's also breaking what Martin pointed out about 9.24 would just leave him in that hex. But that hex is now, because the army objective markers moved away up north, that hex is the same distance away, so it's not closer. Whereas if the army objective was where it was, it would have been one hex closer. So, not considering him. Selector number 5 would be next. He's still got this issue about this town, so if he moves out of this town, Ali's supply is going to be traceable to it. So he can't move until something else comes in. It's possible one of these infantry units might move into that hex, possibly, with one of their movements, and then it might let that guy make some kind of move, maybe. So then we're down to unit number 7. Now, there's a space in this hex, so I think he can move closer to his army objective and adjacent to VP hex by just moving into this hex. Just wondering, he could actually reach this hex too, couldn't he? Right, hang on. Yeah, so he's going to move, and he could actually get in here. Movement wise, yeah, it's only 4 movement, 2, 4. So you can get into here or here. They're both the same distance away from his army objective. So then you look at what compass direction's on the army objective, and it's west. So this hex is just west of that hex. So it's this hex he's going to go to. Now again, we're moving in and we're going to look at 9.24. Well, there's no empty hexes that we can reach adjacent to that same unit. So I'm just going to shift these guys out and put him in there. Okay. So that was number 7, wasn't it? Okay, so let's just see if there's anything else. Well, to be honest, this unit might be able to go in there, won't it? Yeah, this infantry unit can go into here. 1 hex closer to his army objective adjacent to VP hex. That was number 9, so we're on to number 10. Now, he could get in there too, but is that one going to be closer? Yeah, okay, this unit is... oh, hang on, I missed unit 8 down there, haven't I? Give me a sec. Okay, yeah, I think unit 8 could have got closer to his army objective and adjacent to St. Vith by going 1, 2, 3, 4, and then across the bridge here for 5. I've not counted the hexes out because there's no need to, because this is just the core objective underneath. So this unit's actually holding this unit surrounded. And if he was to move into here, sorry, it'd be here, wouldn't it? Then this guy wouldn't be surrounded anymore, so he can't do that. So I don't think he can reach her. And then it's exactly the same with unit number 10 up here. He could indeed, there's a space in there, and it's 1 hex closer to his army objective, would be adjacent to VP hex. But again, he's holding his zone of control in this hex here. So surrounding this guy, and if he moves away, the guy's not going to be surrounded anymore. So I don't think he can move under that movement method either. So let's move on. Yeah, I'm realising some things have changed from what I've done before, and it's because I rolled the dice again for the army objective. I wasn't going to initially, but I felt like there had been some sort of different moves, in particular. I'll just zoom out there a little bit. In particular, me moving these 5th Corps units along here. Now I think where had it initially appeared? I think it was further south. The dice roll that I got, And I was going to leave it like that, but it's because some units have moved in a different place. I felt like I should roll for that again. So it's in a different position. So there's some things different happening, but that's fine. It might not. I might not have such a great headache about the surround of this unit because I don't think there's going to be as many units left. But I mean, the question already came up in the last impulse with the what was it, the 85th Corps units. So the question's already out there. I'm sure it might appear here a little bit as well once I get down to movement method 3. So yeah, moving back, 14 would be the next unit. Now that would be closer to his army objective and adjacent to VP Hex, and I don't think he is. I mean, he is one of the ones that he is causing surround on that, but by moving away, the unit's it's still surrounded. So I believe this guy can make the move, and yeah, he was one of the units that also moved down to adjacent, and weaving in a detachment in there. So what is that? 14. So 15. Well, this hex is now full, so we can't get adjacent to that hex. Yeah, no other VP hex he could move to. Then we've got the two bracket units, 32, 36. Same situation with him. There's no space in these hexes. 36. Yeah, he's not going to be able to get around because he's got his zone controlled on that one. I mean, if that wasn't there, he could maybe have got to adjacent to St. Vith, but he can't. So, okay, so let's move on to method 3, cause surround, and we'll see a couple of the bits that I was talking about. Like I say, there was 4 units before, but now there's only 2. These 2 units are both could be classified as causing this unit to be surrounded, but they're not adjacent, so they want to move adjacent. And like I say, what it was before, and there was 4 of them, you do start to think, well, you know, do you consider all of these? But yeah, it looks like it in the rules, you know. Okay, so this goes in descending order. 36 is already adjacent. He's actually not causing, because remember, he's bracketed, but there is a unit underneath that's holding these hexes, you know, holding this guy in. So he's nowhere to go to surround something. Now, so this one here, no, it's the same. It's not. It's these 2 here I'm thinking about. Yeah, he's the same. He can't go and surround anybody, and he's not causing any surround at the minute. So 32, so down to 15. Right, so here, this is where things start. So, I mean, this is the same thing again. If you take this unit away from here, right, if he's not here, this unit is still surrounded. He's still got zone of control right around them. However, if you took these units away, this unit would still be surrounded too, and he would be helping causing that surround. So we're back at that question again. And yeah, I think I've probably talked about it enough. I think you get the gist of it. I'm just not 100% sure. It'd be a difficult thing to implement within the AI to decide which unit was causing the sound. I think I went over that as well. So let's not harp on about it. Let's just say that this unit is causing this unit to be surrounded. That's all I can do until somebody comes and tells me differently. So he's wanting to move adjacent now. Now does he have 1, 2? No, he can't get into there. So you can only get into there. 1. Yeah, he can't get into there either, can he? Yeah, so he's only got 1 hex that's adjacent that he can move to, and that's into there. So yeah. So again, and now we're down to, well, actually we're not down to unit number 10, or we've got 11 there, but he can't cause a unit to be surrounded. I think he'd be the next in line, wouldn't he? 11, yeah, we're working our way down, aren't we? actually what's underneath him. Yeah, 26. He should have been considered after the 2 bracketed units, but he's not causing surround or can cause any unit to be surrounded. So, and then same with 11. But 10's got the same situation. But you see, this guy's now locked in. He's got 3 sets of units round about. So it does feel like, is this unit still causing him to be surrounded? You know, but anyway, I've said that that's how I'm going to do it. So if he is considering to be causing it surrounded and he can move adjacent, he moves. They're not terrible moves, don't get me wrong. I mean, maybe that's why they've just left it as it is, because this unit's in a whole lot of hurt now, you know, he's more than likely going to be attacked. It's a high possibility that they're going to attack him. And if not, it's, you know, whereas that unit not moving down there, allied units could maybe have moved into there to help this guy out. So now they can't by that move. So, you know, maybe that's all it's about. Okay, on to the infantry moves, methods 5 to 9, and we've got 2 bracketed infantry units left that could be moved. And I thought there that we were going to get to method 8, which is enter a town occupied by German armour. And I thought that, I've not quite read it yet, but I thought this unit was maybe going to come in and relieve this guy, because this town is just occupied by an armoured unit. So, however, the movement method before that is 7, move adjacent to an allied unit or town. And by the way, this goes in descending order. So, unit 36 here is first to be considered, but he's already adjacent to an allied unit. He can't get... I was looking at these 3 armoured units here. So he can't get up and around with movement method 7. Well, this infantry unit can actually go 1, 2, 3 adjacent to these armoured units, because there's no infantry units. Now, the rule is infantry move adjacent to allied unit or town to which no non-bracketed German infantry unit is adjacent. Now, I found this a bit odd, and I actually asked the question about, you know, can you move a bracketed unit adjacent? Because it doesn't say that. It says infantry move adjacent to which no non-bracketed German infantry unit is adjacent. So it's really like, I mean, okay, it's moving the unit adjacent, but it's then, if we look at this rule again and we've got another unit we can move, there's still not a non-bracketed German infantry unit adjacent to this unit. So if there was another infantry now that we could move, he would still move to that hex. But I think, whoops, daisies. I think although that looks a bit of an odd move, he's not breaking any restrictions that I can see. Yeah, so I think he would actually do that. Okay, so the last infantry unit is 36. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the movement to get up to this town to relieve this unit, so which is a bit of a pity. But okay, so we're now moving on to 10 to 13. So starting down here with unit 2. I'll zoom out a little bit. Okay. Right, so he can't move via arrows. He can't move closer to his army objective either. Even breaking into here, it's 5 movement for him to move into that forest. So if it was a shorter movement, he might have been able to come around possibly. So, and then he's the only unit in the hex, so he can't infiltrate. And the last move would be move adjacent to an allied unit if not already adjacent. Well, he is already adjacent. So that's unit 2 not going to do anything. Now up here to unit 4. So yeah, again, can't move with arrows. He can't get closer to his army objective. Had a look at that. He cannot infiltrate. Although there's 2 units in his hex, they've actually activated already. It needs to be with at least one other active non-bracketed unit that is not yet moved. Yeah. So he can't do that, and he's already adjacent to an allied unit, so he'll just stop. Now, Unit 5 is a similar position, can't move via arrows, can't move closer to his army objective. He still can't move, because if he does, he's opening supply to that town, to the allies. So he's kind of stuck. Okay, so unit number 8 now. Maybe we'll get something out of him. No, maybe not though. No, he's kind of tied in. Can't move arrows, can't get closer. He's surrounding this guy as well. And he's adjacent to an allied unit, can't infiltrate. That's not a unit underneath our mind, that's just that core objective. So not for him either. Okay, something might happen here. Unit 11. Can't move via arrows. Can't get closer to his army objective, but we've not used the infiltrate yet. And I believe he could. Yeah, because he's stacked with another active unit. He can infiltrate. It's not into a forest or across a river. It's going to be 1 hex closer to his army objective. And he needs to be stacked to another active unit that's not moved yet. And when he makes a move, then that unit's considered to have moved. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so what we got left? Just that bracketed unit here, I think, isn't it? Because that was 11. 26 is already moved now. Yeah, so just the bracketed unit left. Okay, can't move the arrows, there's no arrows in his hex. He can get 1 closer to his army objective though. Unfortunately, I thought it would be better if he could do 1, 2 and then into here, but he's breaking zone of control for 2 and this is a 4, so it costs him 2 to move back in. That would have been 1 hex closer and also kept with a 3 to 1 against the allied unit, but he can't do that, but he can actually move into this hex here. So 1, 2 breaking zone of control and 1 more in there. Doesn't put him adjacent to an allied unit, but he is 1 hex closer to his army objective. Yeah, that's the only hex he could get to. Okay, so it means that unit 2, 4, 5 and 8 selector numbers didn't make a move, but oh, wait a minute. I've just realised this unit moved out of here. Could I have put something else into there? Oh, you know, reading ahead, overstacking temporarily. Maybe. Right, I thought I'd have a look back in the video just to see, and this is starting to take things to it's a bit messy here. Well, the first unit that moved in beside these two was unit number 9. He was in here. That had moved in there, that would have been fine. But he had moved in here. Now remember, this was here. So this was a full stack. So you had the choice of moving in here or here. So, because this one's fully stacked, they're both 1 hex closer to the army objective, would be adjacent to VP hex. We're talking movement method 2 here again. But because this is fully stacked, I automatically looked and put them in here. But if they weren't fully stacked, this would be the choice. This would break the tiebreakers because it's west, as we just noticed. So should this guy go into here, knowing that one of the units is going to move out? Yeah, I mean, the thing is, if I'm going to do things complete like I want to do, I think that's what would happen. I think that unit would go in there to overstack once we found out that this unit was going to infiltrate into here. So I'm going to adjust that and just have a look and see if that means anything else could have moved into here, because there's now a space in there. Okay, it has had a slight knock-on effect. Oh, dearie me. Unit number 15, selector number 15 was in 904. He was in here. And I said at the time that I'd done what I'd done, this hex was full. But he can actually move 1, 2, 3 into there as well. This is starting to get awful messy, isn't it? I suppose if I want to try and do things now, that would have still kept this unit surrounded. He was here. However, yeah, that is still keeping that unit surrounded. He would have still made his move. Now he could have went into either hex, I suppose. But I think that would be close to his army objective when he made that move. Okay, I think that straightened it out. Yeah, bit of a mess there. I mean, I'll need to watch. If I'm obviously going to be as strict as possible with the rules, I'm going to have to watch. When I say a hex is fully stacked, something's got to click and say, well, it might be fully stacked at the moment, Grant, but by the end of the impulse, is it going to still be fully stacked? And I need to reconsider that one. Yeah, this unit still couldn't have come up and around, could he? He didn't have the movement. Yeah, that's right, the bracket unit. But this unit's still surrounded, but not as yeah. Okay. Right, I think that's complete now. Yeah, okay, I think I'm just look back and I think I'm happy with that. It was a bit of a mess, but any of your opinions on would you have done that? I mean, I've already done it previously when I found out you could overstack temporarily, so I mean, yeah, I maybe could have just let that go and forgot all about it, but I'm trying to do it complete, so anyway, if any of you got any views on that, let me know. So I'm not so sure I've got time to carry out the attack checks, and what I was thinking was just cutting this just now. This will be just the last part of the 17th anyway. I mean, we've only got the one card, so we can't have another impulse this time. So it's just to determine the attacks now. There's quite a crowd around this, but am I not right in saying this is 3 units? But 2 of them are reduced, so it's only 5 strength. That's a victory point town, so... But there's a possibility they might go for this unit, these guys, so we need to determine, and then, well, we've got an unlikely attack on this. In fact, yeah, that's not going to happen. That's 12 strength, I think, isn't it? And I suppose this guy, but that other unit moving away now is make that less of an attack, because this unit's coming across the river, so maybe not with that one. Okay, I'll probably just pause this just now, and maybe just have a look back over that just to make sure, because I know it got a bit messy at the end there. Sorry about that. Okay, I'll be back soon. Actually, I decided just to carry on with this. I should have the time to finish it unless it gets all mucky. Okay, so German attack determination, right? There is quite a few to check, I suppose. This needs to be looked at to start with, because well, we're going in ascending order, so this would be the first unit. He's adjacent to this. He would be the lead unit. Now, we've no support card at all, so assault coordination isn't considered, which is maybe a pity for him because he's got a couple of units round about. But so the strength is 5 against 2, so 2 to 1 with that. Now, forest, improved position, adjacent to supplied allied unit. Yes, so he's getting a +1 for that. And that is that. And it doesn't gain anything for the town situation, does it? This is always one I've found a little bit strange, but then that adjacent to supplied allied unit's pretty strong. So that would be 5 against 3. So it's 1 to 1, or is it 1.5 to 1? We'll have to work that one out soon, Grant. I'm sure you are all out there saying that's a simple bit of maths, here, Grant. Okay, so it's between 1 to 1 and 4 to 1 anyway, so we're going to roll a dice. I'll just zoom out for this. Now, is there any modifiers? Yeah, he's elite, so there's a -1 for elite, and that is it. So, -1 on the dice. I can't see that. It looks like a 4 in the camera. Yeah, it's a 4, so possibilities here. 4, -1's 3. Cancel if less than 1.5 to 1. Oh no. Or attacking from 1 hex. Well, we're getting away with it again because it is only attack from 1 hex. So still don't need to work at that 1.5 to 1. Right, so that's that one. So unit number 4 would be next. I'll zoom in there a little bit. Okay, so he's going to be the lead unit. Now, he's got a choice of 2 hexes to check for his attack. So he's wanting to pick the one with the best odds, isn't he? If a German unit is adjacent to more than one allied occupied hex, calculate the situational strength. I'll put that there so I can make it easier. Calculate the situational strength ratio against each potential target. Conduct the attack check with the highest ratio. If tied for highest ratio, check a VP hex. If none, check the hex closest to the lead unit's army objective marker. Okay, so let's look at this one first. We've got a strength of 4 there, and then another 5 is 9. Now remember, this is an active unit 2. So that's 13 against 3, but we've got a situation where check him. He's in a forest, so that's a +1. He's in an IP, that's a +1. He's adjacent to a supplied allied unit, that's a +1. So he's getting a +3. So what was it I said? 9, 10, 11, 13 against 6. Yeah, 13 against 6. So the odds are 2 to 1 there. So what about here? Well, there's 5 strength we noticed in there. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, that's more than likely going to be this one then, isn't it? Right, what have we got? 6. There's 11 in there, 13, and another 9. So that's 22 against 5. I don't think he's getting any modifiers, is he? No, so 22 against 5 is 4 to 1. In fact, yeah, that's an auto. That's an auto go ahead, isn't it? Okay, so this is a lead unit. He's going to check against this. We've just decided it's 22 against 5, which is 4 to 1. Just double check. He's not adjacent to clear terrain. No. Yeah, there's no modifiers at all. 22 against 5, 4 to 1 odds. So if equal or greater than 4 to 1, conduct the attack. Oh, wait a second. Reserves, Grant, reserves. Yeah. Remember that bit I said, remember about reserves? Well, the attack check sequence that's the other part that looks at reserves. When you're checking, you include all active German reserve units that could legally be placed in hexes adjacent to the defending stack, and from which reserve supply can be traced. And then if there are more reserve units that could be placed, include units in ascending numerical order. Do not actually place the units at this time. Okay, so I need to go and revisit unit selector number 2, don't I? Ah dear, seem to be getting an awful lot of things muddled up now. Okay, so when I was considering this, no, I'll keep the die roll. What did we get? We got a 4. But let's just see what the odds were, because I need to check how these reserves could be placed, don't I? No, it just says, yeah, include all active German reserve units that could legally be placed in hexes adjacent to the defending stack and from which reserve supply could be traced. Yeah, so yeah, these 2 units in the reserves. Yeah, there's this guy. Where are we? We've got this guy, and then we've got an infantry unit too. So these 2 could certainly be placed in here, or here for that matter. And you know what? It's possible they could get placed in here, or maybe even here. They've got to be able to trace reserve supply. But the fact is, they can be placed here, and reserve supply means they need to trace supply, but I've just noticed a wee bridge there that should have been given to us, given to the Germans on activation. There's not any more that I missed. No, there's none further north, is there? Yeah, when they activate, there was no allied unit across there, so that's a German bridge now. Yeah, so they could easily be placed there, and they're able to trace reserve supply. So we don't place these, but we consider their strength, and their what they are, because they are active units. So that'd be adding another 7 to this. So that'd be 12 against 2, and then it was 12 against 3, wasn't it? We went up. Hang on. We got a +1, yeah, because he's adjacent to a supplied allied unit. So that was 2 + 1's 3. Yeah. What did I say? 12 against 3. Well, that's 4-1, isn't it? So we don't actually need that die roll. Yeah, because I was only considering 5 against 3, wasn't I? So, but 12 against 3 is a different story. Okay, so we are actually going to have this attack. Right, okay. This is taking longer than I thought, but however, okay. Okay, so we're going to go ahead with combat here. 6, 9, 12. Yeah, it was bang on 4-1 odds, yeah. Okay. So yeah, okay, so now we've got to draw a combat tactic, but there's no cards left in the German draw pile. But for that purpose, as we've done once before, I think we're in the 16th, I've got to shuffle up the German discards and draw 1 for combat tactic. It just means it doesn't mean the draw pile's getting renewed or anything. Right, I've had things on pause at this time for a few hours. I had to go and do stuff. So I know we were looking, so just to get back to where we was, we were considering this attack. Well, no, it was an attack because we had reserve units that could come in. We shuffled up the German discard pile and we were just about to draw a combat tactic, weren't we? That was right. There's a few things come up. I've had a couple of answers to my questions. One is an answer I'm happy with, and the other one is not. And I don't mean that I'm not agreeing with it. I do agree with it, but it's a bit messy. It's going to be a bit of a shambles, I think. However, I thought it might have involved the situation here. It's about the cause surround bit. But I've just looked back and seen how we dealt with this, and I know I had to make a wee readjustment because I had to do a look ahead, if you like, and see if a stack was going to have a space in it, you know, and we did do that, and so it ended up only this unit moving adjacent. And I'm pretty sure that was a legitimate move. What Martin started, it was him that replied to my questions, obviously, and he started bringing to light, and I think I might have seen something like this before. There's some, whether he mentioned something like this before or it was in another thread or whatever. Because like if you have got multiple units that are all kind of causing surround, then it just feels wrong that they're all considered here and they should all be moving adjacent. What I'll do is we'll finish with this impulse, and I'm going to make an adjustment. The reason it came up was the 85th core down below, down at the pink units down in the south. So we'll go back down to them once we're finished with this, because I don't think this was affected by it. So, and then I'll also discuss the other one that he's brought up that I'm happy with it. It's nice and simple. Okay, so we're conducting a combat here. So let's just get the first SS dealt with. And we're drawing a combat tactic, that was it. Right, let's do that. Let's see what we get. Ooh, jeans. Right, so 5th Panzer Army card, combat tactic is artillery and assault coordination. Oh, jings. Right, okay. So, right, that is going to bring in a couple more units into the attack then. And also artillery. That's going to be more nasty then, because I think the reserves are going to come in too, aren't they? Okay, let's see. So that was step 1 in the combat sequence. We don't have a support card to use as an extra combat tactic, so we're just, I think that's enough. Artillery and assault coordination is enough. So now we're at step 2, and this is add active German reserve units. Now we've already said that there's 2 active reserve German units in that core that can move. So by placing them in valid hexes adjacent to the target hex, and then it refers to the instructions in 12.21. So we've not done this yet, so I'll just do it carefully. Okay, so we're going to place them in ascending order. So we've got a selector number 3 and a 13. I'll maybe zoom out a little bit, make a bit more space. So we'll just chuck this guy here. He's the 13. He's the 3 and he's the 13. So any number of active reserve units may be added to an attack as long as each qualifies. Place a reserve unit if at the moment of the check a hex meets all the following requirements. So the hex is adjacent to the hex under attack. Okay. German reserve supply can be traced to the hex. Placement of the unit in the hex would not cause an overstacking situation. So there's possible, right, well, I need to check if all these hexes are in reserve German supply. Okay, as far as I can see, all these, this hex, this hex, this hex, this hex, and this hex, they're all in reserve supply. German reserve supply can be traced for them. Now, these are 2 empty hexes, so that's probably considered. So, right, so we'll now move into some tiebreakers. If more than one hex meets all these requirements, place the unit in a hex causing the defender to be surrounded. Well, he's already surrounded. Then in a hex not across a river from the defender. Well, all the hexes are not across a river. Then in an empty hex, okay, so now we're down to these 2. Then in a hex with fewest German units. So we've got 2 options. If more than one choice remains, placing the hex closest to the reserve unit's army objective. Okay, so that means that that's going to go in this hex. So I think that's right, and this unit's going to pop up in here. Just going to double check the German reserve supply again. Yeah, the only addition is the supply may not be traced through a hex. Like, for instance, I can't trace from here to here because Allied Zone of Control's in here. Normal supply I'd be able to trace in here. Reserve supply I can't. So I've actually got to go 1, 2 onto this road. This road can go right down and then across a bridge and away. So that's fine. So that's all good. So that's us placed that unit. So now we're going to place this unit. And well, we know where this is going to go. It's got an empty hex to go to as well. So that's going to go in there, and that's that unit completely surrounded. Well, he does have an out by going. He can retreat into this hex without losing a step. So he does have that going for him. But yeah, again, this can trace reserve supply. Hang on. Right, I can't trace across that bridge because that would be an Allied supply. Yeah, I can trace across the unbridged riverside here, which is fine, and then it's on a road. That's fine. Okay, so yeah, that's that done. So now we go back to step 3, which is we can play Allied combat tactics. We don't have any cards, so now we're going to, well, let's work out the odds and start drawing some chits. So what we've got is, we've got 5, 7, 12. Now that's our active units that are involved in the attack. But we also, because we play the assault coordination, we also add both of these into the attack. So what is that? 10, 14, 16, 19. So we've got 19 to 2, which is 9 to 1, isn't it? Oh, wait a minute. That's overwhelming German attack. Now, hang on. We wouldn't have had that odds had we not drawn, because we draw 1 German combat tactic. We wouldn't be drawing, or is it only the bonus that we don't use it? Oh, give me a sec. Yeah, okay. It is only this is 12.31, the German bonus combat tactic. If we had the combat tactic there, a support in the support card box, because we've got overwhelming odds of 9 to 1, we would not use that. We would not use that support card as a combat tactic. It's basically just saying, look, you've got enough here, you don't really need to use that card. But however, we don't have a card there anyway, so we don't need to be looking at that, so that's fine. Right, so what did I say? So we've got 9 to 1 odds. And then chip pools, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 for elite is 6. And then 2 for the 2 combat tactics is 8. Okay, so 9 to 1 odds, 8 chip pools. Yeah, this looks kind of grim, doesn't it? Yeah, and that's us. So we're just going to draw 8 chits and find out that unit's fate. Now, he's only 1 step, so he's in a town, so we'll soak up 1 there, but looks kind of grim for him, I think. Oh, there you go. Well, the first chit wiped me out, basically. D3 for a 9 to 1. And then these were the next 2 chits. If if he'd been elite, that would have been quite interesting. Although, I think starting with D3 and then D2. So the thing is, I'm going to have to count the numbers up here because there's a few A hits, but I think what is the rule again? The hits over, what was it? German attacker hit reduction. So that'll probably take the hits away, I think. But I'll work out the numbers anyway. Okay, it's 3 hits to him. It's 7 to us, but I'm just using a D6 here, of course. So it is 7 hits, but let's just take the 1 off now from being in the town. So that reduces it to 6. So he is going to be eliminated. He can go retreat, retreat, and then he's only a one step loss, isn't it? So it's retreat, retreat, and he can do that. He can retreat into here, so he's not taking a step loss. And then the third hit has to be taken as a step loss. So that still leaves 3 hits remaining. So, which is perfect for the Germans because these 3 hits are going to just cancel out these. Because that's what it says. The number of hits incurred by the Germans in a German attack is reduced if all the Allied units defending in combat are eliminated and Allied hits remain unfulfilled. Well, there's 3 hits unfulfilled. The number of German hits is reduced by the number of unfulfilled hits. Assume the Allied units retreated before losing steps, if possible. So yeah, so I said they would retreat, take 1 step loss, leaving 3 hits left over, which cancels out the German hits. So yeah, that guy's toast. There's only 1 unit in the eliminated units box, so no more victory points regarding that. But he's about to stroll into St. Vith and get 2 more victory points. So yeah, I'll clear things up there and we'll see about advance after combat. So advance after combat in ascending order, and remember these 2 units were assault coordination units, so they can't advance if they had the option to. So unit 2 is going to be first. It's into a VP hex. It's an automatic advance. So we'll get a control marker there for St. Vith. Automatic advance. 2 more victory points. That's them up to. They were on 10. That's them up to 12. So he can advance another hex. There's no path of retreat. The primary arrow is into this hex. So, and there's not a unit advance already into that hex, so he's actually going to advance into there as well, I believe. This is probably kind of strange because he's advanced these 2 hex into there. Okay. So we're looking at unit number 3 now. Now again, this is a victory point hex, so, and there's no units in there that have already advanced, so that's an automatic advance for him. This maybe seems a little bit odd. So he goes in there, but he could 2x advance too, and he wants to go back to be his primary route, which is back into the hex that he's just came from. I'm not sure how you get round about that one. I don't see anything that says it should be any different. So he would advance back into this hex because there's a unit already in there. It's his primary arrow. He would advance on a 1 to 6. I'm just going to roll this off camera. Well, he's actually rolled an 8, so he's not going to move back into that hex. Yeah, I don't see anything there that would stop all that nonsense. It's probably just one of these things that they can't really deal with. Because if it was yourself doing it, you probably wouldn't advance that unit and let the infantry unit come in, but again, well, this comes up, again, something Martin just mentioned again recently, and I've said it a lot of times myself. The Allies will make some, the Germans will make some, or the AI, shall we say, will make some suboptimal moves at times that look a bit odd and whatever, and don't look like the best moves, but they make up for it elsewhere. They get extra benefits that we don't gain what they get, so. Okay, so I'll leave him here. So the infantry unit is going into VP town, but there's already a unit there. So he would still advance again on a 1 to 6. I'll just roll this off camera as well. Right, that's a 3. So he is going to advance into the town. and obviously he can't advance the second hex. I don't think there was anything. Did you advance the second hex? No, I don't see anything. There's no restrictions there that stop that infantry unit from advancing. Okay, so that's good. Right, that's that combat complete then. Okay, so that was me considering unit number 2, wasn't it? Okay, so let's look at the next possible attack. Yeah, okay, so it's selector number 4, and I believe we already did look at this, didn't we? And then I realised I'd forgot about considering the reserve units, and that's why we came back down to carry out that attack. Now, if I'm right in thinking, we had the choice, obviously, of these two, but pretty sure the odds were much higher. In fact, they were 4-1, I think. So I think this is going ahead. So let me just double check. That's 4. I'm going to just angle him because I'm pretty sure that's happening. So that's 9. Give a sec. Okay, sorry, dragged away there again. Right, I was counting up the odds here, wasn't I? Now I forgot. It's 9 in there, eh? Right, 9, 14, that's another 6. Right, well, it doesn't matter, can I just chuck them in there now? So that's 20, so it's 22, isn't it? 22 against, right, we know this is 5, isn't it? It's 2 single strength, 1 step units, and a 3. So 22 against 5. Yeah, so 41 odds there, which is a guaranteed go ahead. And I'm pretty sure, because he was getting a +3, wasn't he? This guy wasn't getting anything, I don't think. Now there's no reserve units left in the reserve units box that are active. So yeah, I suppose if they get dragged out in the first attack, that's it, which is a bit of a shame. But I suppose you're going in ascending order, so that's main units that are getting used for that are getting the reserve, which I suppose makes sense. Yeah, there was no forest preposition adjacent. Nah, it's not even adjacent to an allied unit. So yeah, there was no pluses to him. So this is 41 odds. So this is going to go ahead. This is an attack. So yeah, let's just move on to that. So we're going to draw a combat tactic. We went too far there. Right, let's draw a card. Yeah, okay. 58 core again, they're just like haunting us, eh? Right, it's reinforced battle, and if they return it to the draw pile, well, right, I don't know if I can, well, I probably should shuffle it in there. I don't know if that's, does it matter? Probably doesn't matter in this situation. I'm not so sure we're going to get a reinforced enemy. Well, hang on. Yeah, there's nothing that could reinforce. These 2 stacks are full. And this unit only got there because he infiltrated through. So we can't get another unit into there because it's a zone of control anyway. Even if there was an option. But, I mean, these all units have already moved anyway. It's got to not have moved or attacked. But so I was maybe looking at this guy, but you can't squeeze through anyway. So all that's going to give them is an extra chip pool. Now we've already said there's no reserves. We've not got any combat tactics, so let's work out the odds. And right, I said 22 to 5, so nothing changes there. So it's 41 odds. Chip pools are 1, 2, 3. Is there a elite? I think there is an elite, yeah. Piper's in there. So 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, he's elite as well, anyway. Oh, so that's 7 units. 7 chip pools, 1 for elites, 8, 1 for the reinforced battles, 9. So 41 odds, 9 chip pools. And yeah, that's it. Let's get the chip pools. Okay, so there we go. not great. Got a great last chit, defender elite. We've got an elite unit. Look at these two though. Obviously the back of these is defender adjacent. I've not got one, which that would have been great. However, we've not got one. The only odds chit just missed out. It was less than 3-1 on the back as well. So I'll take them away. I'll take the non-applicable ones away and count up the numbers. Okay, 3 hits on us, one on him. Now we're in a town. It's a victory point town, this, remember. So 1 hit takes us down. That soaks up 1. We've got 2 hits to take. I mean, we've got 2 single step units and the double step unit on top. Move away, just look at our options here. Yeah, I think we should lose the 2 single step units, because that is victory points again for them. I mean, yeah, we could retreat twice, maybe 1, 2 into here on the other side of this river. I don't know, is that a better choice? Keeping the units together. No, I don't know. Maybe this is controversial. I'm going to keep this guy here and take the 2 hits on these 2 1-step units. And I'm allowed to do that, am I not? Yeah. Yeah, it's my choice where I take the unit. I mean, it would have to be spread throughout. Yeah, obviously I couldn't, if one of these was, yeah. No, that's fine. 1 hit, 1 hit. If there was another hit, obviously it would have to go, well, it would have to go on that guy. The other guys are away, aren't they? Yeah, I think that's okay. Right, so I'm just going to chuck both of the units in the cup and give them an extra victory point. So up to 13. And yeah, I'm going to just stand my ground there. And maybe we can start back in these units. Maybe I can get this guy around here a wee bit. But then I don't want to start opening the gap here, so I don't know. Maybe that's not... I don't know if that's the greatest move there or not. Whether you guys would have retreated them. Okay, so he's got to take 1 hit though. Okay, so there's no 4-step units. They're all 2, I think, right? There's a 1 in there as well. So what's probably lost the unit in the hex with the most total steps. So there's 6 steps in there. I think there might only be 5 in here. Yeah, this is a 1-step unit. Yeah. So there's only 5 in there. So it's got to come from this hex. And he's wanting the highest selector number. So it's going to be this. I know that's off camera, but it was the infantry unit there, which was selector number 15 at the time. And this one's 14. And then this guy goes back in there. Okay. Right, well, no advance after combat for them, because we just held our ground there, so hopefully that was the right thing to do. Okay, we'll have a look at the next possible attack. Right, just wondering about this. I mean, it's not really relevant, but if there was a draw pile, this would shuffle in, and there kind of is a draw pile because I had to reshuffle the discard pile to get a combat tactic. My thinking is that there shouldn't really be a draw pile though, and like I say, I don't think it makes that much odds, so I'm just going to discard this rather than shuffle it in, which I think is probably the right way to deal with it. Alright, next unit to look at would be this. This is 5 against 3, but he gets +3. He gets +1 for being in the forest, +1 for IP, +1 for unit adjacent. So it's actually 4 against... did I say 5 there? That's clearly 4, Grant. It's 4 against 6. So that's less than 1 to 1, so that's not going to happen. And the last one is down here now. This is where another unit, we had another unit and we realised that we could have moved him up and moved him out of the way. So we only have these two. So, and this is coming across a river. So that's actually 1. So it's actually 3 against 3. But he's getting a +1 for the forest, +1. So it's 3 against +1 for the IP. So 3 against 5. Then he's surrounded, but that doesn't do anything, does it? Yeah, so it's 3 against 5. So that's not going to happen either. Okay, and I think that's the last one. Well, hang on. Yeah, these guys made an attack here. Oh, that was. It's got to be a non-bracketed unit, isn't it? I seem to remember that one. What does it tell you? Hang on. No, it's not a non-bracketed unit. It's got to have at least 2 steps to be considered. That's what it was. But this guy's not going up against this armour anyway, even if he had 2 steps, because there's 12 strength in there. So that's the only other one that's adjacent that we've not checked. And remember, this guy had already. Oh, I've got that. Have I got that on the camera? I was doing it a lot, but this guy had already participated in the attack here, so he's not going up against that. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's all the combats, all the movement. So remove eligible active units to the reserve units box. Well, the only units that haven't done anything are these 2, but they're on their own, so they couldn't move to the reserve units box. Remove. There's no disperse markers. Okay, we're done. Good. Okay. Right. Let's get this. I'm going to pause, cut this, and but I'll be right back. Okay, just a quick catch up with these 2 replies that I got from Martin regarding the questions that was asking. Well, one that I posted as a question on BGG, but he also replied to it in the video as well when I was asking on YouTube. And it was regarding the route that this unit took. What was it? Unit 3 first, wasn't it? And he took that route rather than go through there. And he agrees that that's as good as you can get from the rules. A couple of his comments are regarding it makes some sense that a German unit moving along the route with the best defensive terrain hold value, since which is probably right. So it's weaving detachments and all these hexes, whereas going that way it wouldn't be leaving these. I think there was a couple there, mind you, but and to be honest, on saying that, this unit coming back would have done it that way. But however, he's not pointed me to something else in the rules to say that I would grab these victory points going that way, because it makes sense that it's maybe how you would think about it from your own point of view, but the AI's got to be built. And that was the other thing he brought up, as it's been brought up many a time, and I just mentioned it again. Also, it's been mentioned many times that the AI regularly makes suboptimal moves, and that this is as it should, since it has a lot of other advantages. Consecutive activations is what he's got in brackets, which is true. I mean, we just seen the 58th activate twice in a row, where we wouldn't be able to do that. So so that's good. That's good that I was doing that and I wasn't missing a rule somewhere. So we'll continue doing that. He does say that I think maybe it's in the. Oh yeah, no, he said based on the rule you'd prefer to say yes to both. I'm guessing this situation was too rare to be picked up during playtesting. So maybe it is quite rare. Maybe it is something that I've never came across. I mean, it does seem to be in a closed area that you would be able to reach to. Right. However, if it comes up again, we know what to do. Okay, right, I'll show you this last thing before we finish the day. Okay, there's a lot more to this, and I wish he hadn't came back with this reply, because it feels like it's could get a bit messy, and you're going to have to use this whole look ahead procedure that we were doing, that we just done already up the top there, regarding a full stack. You know, it seems like this could come into operation here as well, and I'm talking about the cause surround movement method 3, cause and surround, and not just cause and surround. It's more about the bullet that says a German unit already causing an Allied unit to be surrounded, but that is not in a hex adjacent to that Allied unit, moves adjacent if possible. So you've seen me struggle a bit, and to be honest, if that first SS army objective hadn't moved to where it had, it would have been a bigger situation up there. But however, let's not go into that. So this unit was right. What I'd like to maybe do, we can keep this zoomed in here. I'd like to replace these units to what they were, and just carry out the movement again with them, just to show you what try and show you what he's talking about. He's made a big reply on the YouTube regarding it, and so if you want to go and read that for yourself, this is his thinking of how it is, because there's nothing really clear within the rules, and this is as clear as he can find it. So I'm going to put these units back now, and we'll just go through it a little bit. Okay, that's the units back to how they were before we carried out any movement with the 85th. I'll not bother hunting down the card again because it's all been shuffled in, but we're activating the core, and we're going to move them. We're at that stage. Now, part of me wishes that the first SS bit did happen, because it was more complex than this, and that's what kind of scares me when I've seen his reply, that I think this could get really kind of like, oh, I'm going to have to look ahead here and find out how this is. So let's just see if I can explain this. So he says, I'm still not entirely sure how to do this themselves, you know, but I'd say the interpretation that is closest to the rules is written as, and then he makes 2 points. And the first one is, one non-bracketed unit moves to surround a unit if possible. More units may move if they can surround different units. Right, that's the easy part. Yeah, that is the easy part. I get that. We all get that. It's just when it comes to units surrounding a unit that aren't adjacent, and are they the unit that's doing the surrounding? Are they the unit that should move adjacent? And this is what the difficult part is. Now, I'm not going to start reading it now because there is quite a lot here. Yeah, I'm not. I'll just try and explain what I think he's trying to say. Okay, so we're looking at what this unit's surrounded by this unit, so obviously doing some of it. These units could be considered to doing some of it. This unit could be considered, and this unit's definitely doing something about it. So this is where Martin says that this is the unit that is definitely causing surround. This is the unit that moved. Now, this is in descending order. So what I do right away is I see this unit that's causing surround, and I move this unit first, and I think he moves adjacent there, yeah? That's what happens. But then I also talk about, well, if this unit's not here, this unit's still surrounded. But then my argument against that is, if all these units aren't there, this unit's still surrounded. So how do you decide what unit's causing the surround? So his look at this is that there's only one of these 4 units causing a surround. This unit's definitely causing it. There's only one of these that are causing surround. Let's just say that with other movement methods, these 3 units, these 3 units disappear and go move somewhere else. They move away, right? We've only got this 1 unit left now. So we would have to look ahead again with the, that's how he's put it, which I think is a good way of looking at it. Yeah, look ahead. Just the same as we'd have to look ahead to a stack that's full to see if a unit might move out of that, so that then we can rewind time a little bit and move the unit into the hex because it's not going to be full. Or we can overstack it if you like, if we know it's going to, what was it said in the rules, if it's definitely going to move or something like that. So if these units weren't there, they've moved away. If we were then able to go back and look at cause surround, this unit is, he's holding a zone of control in this hex, so he's definitely causing this unit to be surrounded. Because now, if he moves away, this unit's not surrounded. So while he's here, this unit's surrounded. So then he has a case to move adjacent, and whether he would move there or there would, well, to be honest, he's probably going to move there because this unit's going to, well, that's not true actually, because then you'd have to use them in descending order, which, oh, that complicates things even more. So this unit would still make the move first, I think, and whether he would go here or here, I think he would go here because it's nearest his army objective, and then this unit would have to go, well, you know what, he couldn't get to there, so he'd have to go there as well, I think. Anyway, that I think is what Martin's saying, and hopefully Martin's watching this and he can keep me right, that all the other units have to have moved away. And it does make it sound better, doesn't it? Because, you know, like I was saying, well, this unit's, he's got a zone of control on this hex, but these units are in the hex. I mean, why does he, you know, he doesn't need to be. He could be away doing something else. Why does he need to be doing this? So I think that's what he's meaning. And his conclusion comes about, now I do move this. So what we have to say is, I suppose we have to look at where the other units are going to move first. See, this is just feels like this is going to be awful messy. His conclusion is that he agrees. So he says, in your example, only unit number 2 is causing surround at the beginning of movement method 3, since each of the other 85th Corps units could move away as long as the one that's last to move remains. And this is, I get that, that's just what I've said. So they're not, this is definitely causing surround, they are not until there's only one of them. Until there's only one of them, then they can make the move. So it says, after it moves, it leaves all other units in the core free to move using other movement methods. So I agree with the moves of unit 2, 5, 6 and 33, but think unit number 8 should move to 2106 using movement method 11. So let's see if we can work out how he's, well, I know how he's coming to it, but let's just try and do it how he's thinking. So, movement method 3, right, we're saying that they're not, I mean, whether we can find out if they still are, I don't know, that's starting to worry me. But this unit can, so he goes like that, he goes in there, right, and then we get a detachment in there. That's what happens. So these don't, this unit didn't move down, he wasn't moving adjacent because of what Martin's saying, and I like the sound of that bit, but it's just the whole, you know, what if we have to look at it? What if the 3 units do move away? Then we've got to go back, and this unit would have moved before that one because it's in descending order. That scares me a bit. Okay, so the next movement would be, right, hang on. Okay, I was just checking back on how, rather than me trying to work it out. Right, it works out that none of these infantry units, there's 3 infantry there, they can't move via 5 to 9, so we move straight on to 10 to 13. Now we do these in ascending order, obviously, so we've got 5, 6, and then the bottom unit's a higher number. So it would be 5, 6, 8, and then the bottom unit of this. So then the first move, arrows, yeah, we work out that we decide that He can jump across the river, spending all his movement. That's fine. So then we move on to Unit 6. Now he can't do that because it's the same hex side and only one can cross. We got that. Can he move closer to his army objective? Well, his army objective's down south, so yes, he can move 1, 2, and then 3 into here. That's right, yeah. So that's unit number 6. So then we'd be on to unit number 8. But hang on here, Martin, hang on. If you're saying to look ahead, if I look ahead and find out that this unit can also go 1, 2, 3 into here, right? No, that's not the right. I see what he's meaning, because this unit, it's not just this unit solely. Yeah, okay. Because these units are here, this unit's not solely causing surround. All these units would have. In fact, as soon as that unit moves into there, I'm not gonna like this coming up again. To be honest, this is yeah. I'm gonna have to try and just move through this. I think it's starting to bog me down a bit. I think what's happening though, even when this unit makes its move, so I would maybe look ahead to see it's going to be in there, and this unit is still not the only one. He's still not solely causing this unit surrounded, so he can't consider like moving adjacent to it. I think that's what's happening here. So let's go back and in sequence. Unit number 8. So can he move via arrows? No, he just go into there. Goes to the army objective, and this is where I'm assuming Martin believes he ends up here. Oh, but hold on there, Martin. Could he not come in here? Ah, no, he can't. Oh, and also that can't as well. Oh, right. That's, I think, why I'd put that unit on top, just to show that it was 4 steps. Yeah, okay, this is 6 steps. So this unit can't even go in here. But I don't think it would matter, because I think this unit's holding zone of controls there anyway. So I think what I've just said is okay as well. So he can't go in there, so he's going to go 1, and then 2, 3, 4. Yeah, you've got it right, yeah. 2, 3, 4. So that is closer to his army objective. Oh, well, maybe you've missed that one too then, Martin, because he can't move in there. Oh, no, what did I do with him then? Right, hang on. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Martin, you were right. After all, I was thinking you were having this unit moving in here, but it's not. What I ended up with, it's unit 6 ends up in here instead, because his armour unit's in here and he can't. Obviously, that's 6 steps, but because of the way he's doing it, and I'm going to go with this. It does feel like it makes a bit more sense. I can see how you can probably see it and work it out. It's maybe not as bad as I'm thinking. Anyway, this unit will be the last to move. Can't move via arrows. He can go 1, 2, 3, and that's where he did end up. So the only difference is I had the armour unit in here and the infantry unit in here. Like, that infantry unit was in there and the armoured unit was in there, but I think what's been explained there sounds better. It's going to be a bit of a headache once I come to it. Fortunately, I looked back in the first SS one and it was okay. It was pretty straightforward, but it didn't feel right all these units, because if you'd seen the clip when I had all the first SS units, there was like 4 of them that I moved adjacent. and it just didn't feel right. I was going to have to cut some of the video out because I was like scratching my head thinking this just doesn't feel right, and this starts to make a bit more sense. And what would have happened. I mean, I do have the video there, but there's no point trying to show that because I changed things and I fixed things and whatever. So, look, we're going to come across it again. So, when we do, we can try and work our way through it as best as possible. Right, okay. I'm going to stick with how he's looking at that. Go and have a read at his reply on YouTube if you want to try and understand it more. I mean, I did read it at first. I was getting like, oh no, don't do this. Yeah. Okay, right, let's get this day finished. Okay, so on the end of the day phase, check the victory conditions of scenario to see if you have won or lost. Well, they don't kick in until the 20th, the end of the 20th. If not, discard your hand and draw pile. Well, my hand and draw pile are all done. I used up all my cards. Return combat chits to the cup. I will do that. Remove all dispersed and out of fuel markers from the map. I don't think anybody is dispersed. No, not that I can see. Right, and this is the sort of new bit that we've got to do. Check detachment markers for removal. It's under 15.3, so let's get that out and have a look. Okay, so it says, during the end of day phase, if either Allied or German supply cannot be traced to a detachment marker in a hex other than a town, city or Westwall hex, remove the marker. And then when making this check, all other detachments possess zones of control. So this is one of the times when the detachments actually have a zone of control, like it just said there, Grant. Detachment markers are not removed from town, city and Westwall hexes at this time. Okay, right then. So we're going to look at each detachment marker, and if either Allied or German supply cannot be traced to them, they're going to get removed. So, right, let me pause here and have a look. Yeah, so this does free up quite a few from the back here. I mean, Allied supply cannot be traced to this. Right, hold on, that's a Westwall grant. Yeah, see, here we go. Cannot be traced to attachment marker in a hex other than a town, city or Westwall hex. Yeah, so these are Westwalls. So not as straightforward as that. Okay, so working my way down, this is a Westwall as well, isn't it? Yes, so they three are Westwalls. This hex here is not a Westwall or a town, and Allied supply cannot be traced to that. Okay, let's take that one away. Can Allied supply be traced to that? And remembering that the detachments possess zone of control, so basically this is kind of surrounded, if you like. The Allied supply can't be traced to that. Now, how would you remove these? Is there not an order? There's an order you remove them, is there not? Yeah, I think that only comes into play when you're generating detachments, that they have an order, but I'm just wondering if taking some of these away you would think there should be an order for that. Right, look, let's just take some of these away now. Allied supply cannot be traced to that. Or that's a Westwall, right? Okay, that's a Westwall, that's a Westwall. Allied supply, can it be traced to that hex? No. Okay, and I've got to remember I've got the wee cubes as well. Right, well that's a town. Can Allied supply be traced to this? Right, well, I'm zoomed out as far as I can go. Let me back up a bit. It looks like Allied supply could be traced to this. Yeah, 1, 2. Yeah, it can. And German supply can be traced. So that one stays. Can Allied supply be traced to this? Possibly not. No, it can't. So that one's coming away. Allied supply can't be traced to that. It can be traced to that. And German supply can be traced. Possibly not that. See, if these detachments are zoned, that's why I'm wondering about there should be an order removing them. I thought you went from east to west. I know that's how they do the when you're generating them, you do it that way. But there's nothing to really say. I mean, because if I take, you know, if I was to take that one away first, I think Allied supply could then be traced. Or could it? Actually, maybe not, because we've said this one's going to stay. Well, you know what? I'll go east to west anyway. So, Allied supply cannot be traced to this then. No. Can it be traced to this? Yes. So, you know what? I'm gonna try and stick with the detachment markers. Take the wee cubes away because that was starting to throw me there a bit as well. And I'm going to put one on this town as well. Try and see if we can keep detachment markers. So, traceable here, 1, 2. See, you can't trace into there because this is on a control, eh? So no, I don't think Allied supply can be traced to that. Or that. Or that. Allied supply can be traced to that though. 1, 2, 3. Yes. So that one stays. Let's put detachment there. Okay. And then the last one, I would say supply can be traced to that as well, yeah. And German supply can obviously be traced as well, so yes. So I think they two stay. Oops. Yeah. Okay, so I suppose that has freed up some. I've got 5 markers left here. Yeah, okay. Right. Okay, so that's that. And I think that's it, isn't it? Advance the day marker on the calendar, start a new day. Okay, that seems to have dragged on an awful long time that day. Right, well, maybe just shut up, Grant, and let's not make it any longer. Well, there's the big picture. Let's say, I don't think I've done very well there strategically. I think I've failed miserably. Hopefully we can deploy some units to block them from sort of dashing to the Muse now, but yeah, I don't feel this bunch of 7th Army unit. I know I mentioned that a couple of times already. I'm more thinking aggressive and when I shouldn't be really. Oh, there's another one there. Hang on. I was going to put a detachment in it because there's a wee cube, but you know what? That's coming away because it's not a West Wall and Allied supply cannot be traced to it. Okay. Right, anyway, that's the big picture. So we'll get back with the 18th as soon as we can. Yeah, okay. Right, cheers, guys.